Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. I wasn't actually going to do a video this weekend because I really had nothing in mind, and I was watching Mega Jeff's Rock Hard Vinyl enter the contest I'm currently doing, and he picked for best and least favourite albums Adamant, and I thought, oh right, okay. I'm a big Adamant fan. I'd ranked their singles about 2.5 years ago. God, it only seems like yesterday. But I never actually ranked the albums, so I thought, right, we'll do an Adamant ranking video of their albums. Now, obviously, it will include Adam and the Ants as well as Adam Ant. There's 10 albums altogether, 9 officially released, and 1 which was actually rejected by the record company at the time, which was MCA. I'm actually going to include that because it got leaked onto the internet, and during the 2000s, you know, with the torrent sites, it was actually very easy to obtain, so we'll rank it as well. So 10 albums, and then I'll show at the very end just a few compilations that you can get either on CD or on vinyl, but we'll start off with the ranking. And at number 10, and we're going to start with the unreleased one, and this was recorded in 1991. I think it was scheduled to be released in 92 or 93, and this is called Persuasion. Rejected by MCA, and I can sort of see why. It has got a very early 1990s sound to it. There's a little bit of Fine Young Cannibals in there. I believe Tony Thompson from Chic plays drums on some of this. Yeah, it's okay, it's not bad. There's some pretty good songs like Headgear, Obsession, and Survival of the Fetish, and Sexitize You, but it's not the Ant sound. It is a little bit more of a dancey type music with guitars. There are guitars in this, so it's not all dancey, but it is quite dated, and it does sound as if it is from 1991. So that actually gets my number 10. It's not bad, but it's not brilliant. It's still the least for me. And number 9, and the one that was previous to that, and his first and last album for MCA, and it's Manners and Physique. Now, this too has that sort of early 90s sound. This is from 1990. Now, there is a hit single off this called Room at the Top, which got top 20. I think it got to about number 13 or something. Yeah, it sounds just like You Drive Me Crazy by the Fine Young Cannibals. It has those drums sound, it has that guitar sound. It's not as good as the song as You Drive Me Crazy, but it's not bad. Again, this has got some decent songs, veering towards more the club dance scene with some things like Rough Stuff. If You Keep On is pretty good. Now, Manners and Physique, the song itself, has got a bit of a groove to it, but it's an old song. Now, it was originally demoed back in 1985, which you can hear the demo on this box set, Ant Box, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, the two songs are completely different. Same lyrics, but complete different arrangement. This is brilliant. This has got that Ant rockabilly yee-haw type sound to it, whereas the finished version, it's okay, but it's nowhere near that sound. So he had got away from the Ant sound completely, and this didn't do too well. I think this album got to number 19 in the charts, which didn't do too bad actually, but it's okay. A great cover, and I love the back cover with the two Schnauzer dogs. Really colourful cover, but what's inside is not fantastic either, so that gets my number 9. Number 8, and we have from 1995, and it's the Wonderful album, and there was 2 hit singles off this, Wonderful, which got to number 32, and the very glammy I Gotta Be a Sin, which got to number 45. Again, it's good, it's not bad, but it's a little bit bland. It's more acoustic-y, so the sound of this is better than the previous 2 that I showed, but it's not overly exciting for me. The best song off this is Vampires, and another single which was going to be but was held back was Beautiful Dream, which is really good. But overall, it's not a bad album, and it does have that Britpop sound to it a little bit. Yeah, so it gets my number 8. Okay, number 7, and we have the album from 2013, which is Jeff's least favourite, and it is Adamant is the Blue Black Hussar in Marrying the Gunner's Daughter. And I didn't have to read that, I know it off by heart. I like this. When I first heard it, I wasn't too keen. The production is it's very low in this. It's not a fully produced album. It almost sounds as if it was amateurly produced, but it has got that raw sort of garage sound to it. The single off this, Cool Zombie, is absolutely brilliant, but Stay in the Game, the second song, sounds completely different. It's more like late 1970s punk, with recording with poor equipment, but I think it's really good, and the songs are much better than on Wonderful. For example, How Can I Miss You is the nearest you'll get to the old Adamant sound. Vince Taylor is a decent song about the rocker who had a hit with, I believe, Brand New Cadillac, that the Clash covered. He was also the main inspiration for David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust character. And then you get some really good songs here as well, like Cradle Your Hatred, Hard Men, Tough Blokes, which I think was originally supposed to be the single off this. Punk Young Girl's good. I saw Adamant tour this album, and he played a few songs off it. In fact, he opened with The Gunner's Daughter, which is really, really good. I like this album. I bought it on CD first, wasn't keen, and then when I got back into vinyl, it was going at a decent price. I bought it, and it's one of those albums where it sounds better on vinyl than it does on CD. So it's a cracking cover as well. So Adamant is the Blue Black Hussar and Marrying the Gunner's Daughter, my number 7, and I think it got to number 25 in the charts, which is not bad, from 2013. Okay, we're getting into the biggies now. Number 6 from 1983, and unfortunately this only got to number 20, and it's Strip, and this features 2 hit singles. The big hit, Puss in Boots, which got to number 5, I believe, and then the Strip, which got to number 41, which is a shame because it's better than 41. And the song Strip itself features Frida from ABBA on spoken word. So whenever you hear that voice, that's ABBA's Frida. This is half a really good album and half not so good. The really good songs off this are Strip, Spanish Games, Playboy, Montreal, Puss in Boots, and Baby Let Me Scream at You. The rest of it is a little bit more dancey and a little bit more, maybe a little bit more geared towards the American market, which is understandable because he had just had a big hit with Goody Two Shoes. It works to an extent, and it's a decent album, but it's not perfect. The 2 videos are great, especially the one for Puss in Boots. It's absolutely fantastic. It's actually quite funny, but his videos are all tongue-in-cheek. But yeah, this here is Strip, number 20 in the charts, and it is my number 6. And number 5 from 1985, and this only got to number 42 in the charts, and it's Vive la Rock, and this is such a cool cover. And yeah, this is the album produced by Tony Visconti. 2 singles off it, Apollo 9, which got top 20, got to number 13, absolutely brilliant. Great video, hilarious video again, very tongue-in-cheek. And the second single was Vive la Rock, which was the song he sang at Live Aid. Yeah, it's a decent song, but it's by no way the second best song off this. Other singles could have been POE, which I think would have been top 30 anyway. Miss Thing is really, really good. Scorpio Rising, slightly slower, absolutely brilliant song. It's a very glammy type album. It sounds like glam rock. In fact, I've always said that Adamant is the 80s equivalent to Mark Bolan, where you got Mark Bolan in the early 70s taking Britain by storm. Adamant did it in the early 80s, and he was influenced by Mark Bolan. You can hear that in the music, and you can also see it in the visuals as well. Yeah, another great song is Hell's 8 Acres. And then on the CD there's a fantastic song which is not featured in the actual album, and it is called, and I can't remember the name of it, and it's on this one, which I'll be showing in a minute. It's called Human Bondage Den, which is an absolutely fantastic song. So Vive la Rock gets my number 5 from 1985. And number 4, and it's the Adam and the Ants debut album, Dirk Wears White Socks. Now this failed to chart originally in 1979, it's on the Do It label, but it did get to number 16 after the success of Kings of the Wild Frontier in 1981. Really great songs like Car Trouble Parts 1 and 2. They took part 2 and they re-recorded it in 1980 after the original Ants were left the band and Marco Perrone came in, and that single got top 40, really on the strength of Ant music doing so well in the charts and the re-release of Young Parisians. Catholic Day is a fantastic song, but it was taken off this for the 1983 issue, which is this album here, which features the Marco Perrone Car Trouble, as well as the other 1979 single Xerox, and a couple of B-sides like Kick and Whipping My Valise. This is technically a compilation album, but it's really good. So I'm judging it on this album. The other one is probably a better album, but this is still my number 4. Cleopatra is good, Animals and Men is great, Day I Met God is great. When I saw him live, he played nearly the majority of this album. Really strong, my number 4, and it's from 1979. Number 3, and from 1982, we have Friend or Foe. Now, this is 3 hit singles. The number 1 hit, Goody Two Shoes, which is a different version to the single version. I think the single version is a little bit better. Friend or Foe, the second single, got to number 9 in the charts, and you could see the success was starting to fall a little bit. I love it. It's an absolutely brilliant song with an hilarious video. Goody Two Shoes video is really good as well. It featured Carolyn Monroe, the Hammer star, and he had a habit of bringing in some big names for his videos, especially during the Prince Charming sessions. But the third single, Desperate But Not Serious, is a decent song, but it was a poor choice and it failed to make the top 30. Far better choice would have been Crackpot History and The Right to Lie, which is really catchy. Or even something like Place in the Country or Something Girls. He also does a version of The Doors' Hello I Love You on this, which is pretty good. This really is an Adam and the Ants album because Marco Perrone is still here. It's just the other Ants are missing, but by this time he was a huge star, and so he was taking the full credit himself, so Adam Ant. And this got to number, what did it get to? Number 5 in the charts in 1982. So it wasn't having quite the success as he was, but it's still my number 3. My number 2, and I love this, and it's Prince Charming. I wasn't keen on this at the start. When this first came out, I was sort of anti-Adam Ant because they were so successful. I loved the previous album, but I admit I love Stand and Deliver, the number 1 hit. But Prince Charming and Ant Rap, I thought, well, they're alright, but you know, it was a real screaming girl teeny bopper band now, and so I sort of moved away from it until the Friend or Foe album, whenever I realised I really do like them. So saw it. I was an Adam and the Ants fan. Yeah, this is great. It starts off with Scorpios full of horns, absolutely brilliant, going into Picasso versus the Planet of the Apes. Absolutely fantastic song, which would have made a really good single. The 2 big singles off this number 1 hits were Stand and Deliver, straight in at number 1, and Prince Charming, which is famous for the video with Diana Dors in it. Really good song, really do enjoy it. And the third single, Ant Rap, which had a slight remix, which is not bad, and it featured Lulu in the video, and Adam was dressed as a knight in shining armour. It was a good song. The whole album is excellent, side 1 especially. Side 2, there's a couple of songs like Mohawk and Mile High Club, which take a bit of getting used to. But songs like That Voodoo, Sex, and Five Guns West are absolutely brilliant. I love this. really great album from 1981, and it got to number 2 in the charts, kept off the top by Queen's Greatest Hits. And my favourite Adam the Ant's album is Kings of the Wild Frontier, which is my favourite album of the 1980s. 3 hit singles off this. The first single was Kings of the Wild Frontier, which failed to make the top 40. Second single was Dog Eat Dog, which is the first time I ever heard of them. Seeing it on Top of the Pops, I thought it was dreadful. After about 3 listens, I thought it was one of the best singles released that year. Got to number 4. And the third single, which I bought straight away, was Ant Music, which I thought was great. This is a fantastic album. Every song is great. Dog Eat Dog, Ant Music, Feed Me to the Lions, Los Rancheros. If there was ever a song crying out to be a single, it was that. Ant's Invasion, Killer in the Home, Kings of the Wild Frontier, The Magnificent Five, Don't Be Square, Be There, which could have been a single, Jolly Roger, Making History. Now, Making History didn't feature in the US version of this. It was replaced by the B-side of Kings of the Wild Frontier, which is Press Starlings, which was a very old song re-recorded, credited only to Ant. These are all Ant Peroni, and for some reason Press Starlings got on the American version, don't know why. Finishing off with the very catchy The Human Beings. Love this album. As I say, my favourite album of the 1980s, absolutely brilliant. And this got to number 1 in the charts and was the best selling album of 1981. Okay, so that's my ranking of the albums. A few compilation albums which are worth seeking out. Adam Ant Hits, which is really all the hits from Kings of the Wild Frontier or Dog Eat Dog, whichever one you want to call the first hit, up to the Viva La Rock, which is all the CBS singles, so you don't get the Do-It ones, you don't get the MCA ones or anything after that. This is from around 1986. The disappointing thing in this is they used the LP version of Goody Two Shoes, but it's still a very strong album. This album here, well, first of all, this album here is actually a bootleg called Family of Noise, and this features a lot of songs that he recorded as demos, and then he re-recorded them as B-sides a few years later whenever he was successful. So songs like Beat My Guest is on this, Christian Dior is on this, With My Valise, B-side Baby. He went back to a lot of these old demos quite a bit to use as B-sides, and they're really, really good, especially the re-recorded versions. And you'll find them in this CD here, which is B-side Babies, which is fantastic. Now this is an American CD, so this actually features Making History, which was on the UK Kings of the Wild Frontier, but it doesn't feature Press Darlings because it was on the American version, which is a shame. I would like both of them on. Well, for me, there's no point in having Making History on this, but this has some really good B-sides like Fallin', which is excellent, Juanito the Bandito, and it's an old song as well, re-recorded for the B-side of Friend or Foe. Christian Dior, brilliant B-side of Prince Charming. Beat My Guest is nearly every bit as good as Stand and Deliver, and you'll see there's a big difference between the demo and the re-recorded version in 1981. This is a must if you're an Adam Ant fan, an absolute must. It's a brilliant album. And I showed this earlier on in the video, and this is Ant Box, and if you're getting any compilation, this is the one to get. Now this features 3 CDs, and it starts off with Young Parisians, and you even get an unreleased lady, Catch a Falling Star, with the old Perry Como song, and it goes up to the Wonderful album. And there are some really good unreleased songs like Saigon from the Viva La Rock should have been on that album. You get things like Coup d'Etat, which is from around the time of Friend or Foe, which is very good. I mentioned before that you get the Human Bondage Den from the Viva La Rock, as well as the Manners and Physique demo, which is absolutely fantastic. Sound quality of that one's not brilliant, but this is an absolute must if you're an Adam Ant fan. So Ant Box, and I don't know if it's still available, or I think this was the original size of it and then they moved it down to the normal CD size, but yeah, fantastic album. Okay, so that's it. That's my Adam and the Ants Adamant album ranking. I hope you enjoyed that, and just to let you know that there's still about 2 weeks left in my contest, about 2.5 weeks actually, so there's plenty of time if you still want to get involved. So I've had how many? I've had 29 entries so far, which is amazing. So let's see if we can get a few more. Okay, that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.